Hello, and welcome to MassageTherapyRadio.com.
Hello, I'm Eric Brown, and I'm your host at MassageTherapyRadio.com. And we're here at the AMTA 2007 convention in Cincinnati. And with me today I have Leon Chaitow. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot.
We're delighted to have you here.
Glad to be here.
So for listeners that aren't familiar with you and your background, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm a British trained osteopath, a DO, and also have a qualification in naturopathic medicine and in acupuncture, all from Britain. I'm South African born, lived in UK since 1950-something, and been in practice for 45 years. And that's, what else can I tell you? I edit a peer-reviewed journal for Elsevier, and I've written a number of books, and I teach.
Yeah, so you've had a very full and rich practice and career. You've accomplished a lot. One of your projects I know you're very proud of is the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell the listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, about 12 years ago I persuaded Elsevier, who are major publishers. They then were publishing around 1,500 journals annually, different journals. Now it's over 2,000. That there was a niche area which was not covered. There were manual medicine journals, there were orthopedic journals, there were osteopathic and chiropractic journals, but there was nothing that was covering the spectrum. So we found a title, Bodywork, which sort of covered the spectrum, non-political. It didn't so we could attract different professions, and that also allowed us to bring in a great deal about massage, which had no representation, if you like, in the peer review literature. So over the years, this 11 years, this is just coming to the end of its 11th year of publication, we've attracted a very eclectic, broad-based readership. A lot of massage therapists read it, subscribe to it, as do osteopaths, physical therapists, physiotherapists, etc. And it's been a joy, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but the quality is what matters, so that those professions that use manual methods can be seen to be working scientifically. We always knew our methods worked. Now we can show that they work and are appropriate.
And you act as the editor for the journal.
I'm the editor of the journal.
So it's a fabulous resource for people, and I think the listeners should really take a look at subscribing. It's the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies, the only peer-reviewed bodywork and massage journal that exists. So definitely worth taking a look at.
If they go to my website, just leonchaitow.com, there's a direct link to the journal, and you can go browse, read articles. I mean, most of your listeners, I imagine, will know of Tom Myers and Jim Oshman. Both of their books, major books on energy medicine and on the fascial continuities, the fascial trains, Tom Myers' work, started in the journal. We ran a series of articles by them 10, 11, 12 years ago, and out of that, Elsevier saw the potential for books, turned them into superstars.
Yes.
Well, we say that.
Well, they really are. And speaking of Thomas Myers, I believe you're involved with him in what is the first International Fascial Research Congress, which is very exciting.
That's next week at the Harvard Medical School Conference Center, and it was an idea that came to fruition. We expected 200 or 300 people. We've got nearly 1,000 coming, and it's totally sold out. We've had to take rooms in another hotel for people to sit and see the whole thing on giant screens. There'll be a simultaneous telecast to the University of Westminster in London, the University of Ulm in Germany. So it'll be seen around the world, and it's the first. It doesn't mean the last. There'll be another one in 2 or 3 years' time.
And so, the medical community in particular will have a much better, it'll certainly raise the awareness of fascia, the importance in rehab medicine in particular, and I understand you're going to help them. You're sort of pointing them towards the clinical aspects of
trying to. I'm co-chairing on the last session of the Congress will be scientists meet the practitioners, and Tom Myers is on my panel, and we've got 4 or 5, including Diane Lee from Canada, from Vancouver, the physical therapist. And we've set a series of questions we want answers to. So we're trying to inform a panel of top scientists what we need to know, and or ask them to explain, we do this and that happens, how does it happen, and why does it happen? And so hopefully that interaction there'll also be interaction from the floor, we hope. And so we're beginning a dialogue where the scientists can understand that their work, as meaningful as it is to them, is meaningless unless it has a relevance to the therapists and practitioners. And much to their surprise, the organizers have found that more than half the delegates are massage therapists.
Really?
So it's touched a chord. There's been a need to know, and we've assumed that we understand why trigger points are trigger points, or why certain things happen when you stretch or manipulate. But we actually only have ideas about knowing. The scientists may know, but they don't bother to inform us, or we can't actually understand their research because it's presented in such dry terminology that no one reads it. So we're hoping this will begin to change things.
Hopefully we'll begin to connect some of the dots.
Well, connective tissue, fashion, yes, hope so.
And just out of curiosity, what are some of the questions you would like to see answered at that conference for yourself, from a clinical perspective?
One of the scientists on the panel is Professor Solomonoff from the University of Colorado, and he does a lot of work on ligamentous influences. He sees ligaments as being proprioceptive organs, and he's done a lot of research which shows this. Well, so one of the questions that I've posed is okay, so if manipulating or stretching or playing around with ligaments alters proprioception, what is the relevance and alters motor function of muscles associated with those particular joints? What's happening in the hypermobile individual, to the muscles and function when ligaments are lax? So it's a question which I would like an answer to, because I've got a lot of hypermobile people. Also very relevant to acupuncturists, because we've got one of the world's top researchers, Helena Langevin from the University of Vermont, showing that the meridians, Chinese meridians, are actually fascial pathways, and she's shown how needling points and rotating needles puts traction on the fascia, and that acts as a signaling mechanism. So we're beginning to get a sense of fascia's enormous importance. So there are questions about that as well.
Well, that'll be terrific, and be anxious to hear about the Congress as it goes on.
The journal will be publishing abstracts and at least 25 articles from presenters in the next year, so another reason to subscribe.
Great. And maybe you can tell us what you're doing here at the AMTA convention this year.
Well, I'm presenting for the AMTA session, 4-hour session on breathing dysfunction and understanding it and how to work with rehabilitation of it, and also doing a 1.5-day workshop, 12-hour workshop for the Massage Therapy Foundation to help raise funds for their work, and that'll be on muscle energy techniques, which is something I think all massage therapists should know about and use.
Okay, and you've done some great work with the foundation. I know you've been involved with them for a while.
Yeah.
We've just interviewed Diana just recently, Massage Therapy Radio, and you've raised a lot of money for them through these workshops. So thank you for your contributions there.
Well, they are again doing one of the most important things for massage, which is to raise its profile and its credibility. And so she's doing good work, or the foundation's doing good work in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your current area of interest? What's really getting you excited these days? You're so prolific. You've written, how many books have you written?
Well, textbooks about 14, 15, but in general I've lost count. Truly, it's 70-something.
It's dozens of books you've written.
Yeah. So currently I'm interested in the pelvis and the pelvic floor. I'm interested in pelvic pain and the dysfunctions that emerge from that, and because it flows on from understanding breathing dysfunction, and we find that there's a correlation between diaphragmatic dysfunction, people who paradoxically breathe, who whose diaphragm moves up instead of down when they inhale because they are upper chest breathers, and dysfunction in the pelvis, which is also linked to excessive toning. Bad Pilates, in other words, can create problems down there. So, and all sorts of horrible symptoms emerge, including chronic pain. So that's an area of interest.
And this is an area that really hasn't been addressed very.
Diane Lee in Vancouver. Diane Lee in Vancouver is a world leader in it. Physiotherapist. She and a colleague in Laurie McLaughlin in Toronto, another physiotherapist, physical therapist. I don't know what you call them in Canada, but we call them physiotherapists. Over here they call them physical therapists. Anyway, they're doing a lot of work in this area, and I'm sort of trailing along and trying to put my bit in, trying to make sense of it all.
Well, you've been a terrific resource for the massage profession, the massage and bodywork profession, and just want to thank you for your contributions. And again, just want to encourage any listeners to run out today and subscribe to the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies. Fabulous journal. So thank you very much for joining us here today.
It's a pleasure.
And on behalf of MassageTherapyRadio.com, have a good day.